Better nuclear advocacy means a brighter future for humanity. Welcome to Nuclear Advocacy Lab. So without any further ado, DJ, take it away.
Everyone, for joining me here. My name is DJ LeClear, and I am a nuclear safety specialist. And this year, I decided to go ahead and start what originally started out as a YouTube channel. And then my wife got me onto TikTok, so I decided to start doing videos on there because it became really easy. And as Eric said, he invited me to come on here and do this presentation. So I figured I'd do like a nice short one for you all that will go over, well, let's get into it. And I'll tell you what we're gonna go over here. So how to conquer hashtag rad talk or hashtag nuclear education. The hashtag rad talk is something that me and some other people who are doing radiation and nuclear education on TikTok have decided to use in pretty much all of our videos. So I'm going to bring open TikTok for you all. So I made a burner account for this specifically. And when you get into it, the first thing it's going to come up with is it's going to bring you right into some videos. But some of the stuff I really wanted to go over with on getting started is changing your privacy. So if you want to be a creator, you're going to have to go over to these three lines over here. I don't know if you saw that. Trying to hold it down on the very upper right hand corner, and you're going to go into your privacy, and then I'm not sure if it's by default or not, but you see here where it says private account. You're going to have to change that to or it might be on private account, it might not be. You saw there it wasn't on private account. You're going to want to take it off of private account if you want to be a creator yourself. If you want to participate in rad talk or nuclear education, but not be a creator, feel free to make that a private account. And then here is a lot of really important stuff to look over. You can do, like if you're a creator, I would recommend the downloads, turning that on. And then you see comments here. Yep, comments. You're going to want to make sure that everybody can view those comments. I think by default, it might just go straight to friends. But make sure you do that. There's some other filtering options down here. I'm not going to really go in that too depth or in depth. I could honestly talk about running this app for the entire presentation. I'm not going to. This is going to be a very small part of it. And then we have some things called duets, and then we have stitch. Duets is when you are doing actually some side-by-side videos. Let me see if I can go ahead and bring you all side-by-side duets. So there we go. I did this duet here. So where basically, arguing that because there was an accident. Let me turn that down. I did a video where I was on one side and the other person was on the other, where I basically went to their video, which I can click on here, and I clicked on the little share button, the arrow down in the lower right hand corner, and then I clicked on duets right there in the center, and that gave me that side-by-side view. There's also another one that you saw back there that said stitch, and what that does is it allows you to take 5 seconds of the video and you add it to the beginning of your video, and what'll happen is it'll start out with their video first, and then it'll switch to this video that you're making. Like, let me go ahead and I can just record a little bit here, stop it, and then starts out first 5 seconds is that old video, and then switches to my video. Let me go, we're gonna discard this. Go back to my privacy, oops. But that's Duet and Stitch, I just showed you there. And then you can also control what videos, or what, if they can see what videos you've liked. And then you can also change direct messages. So that's really quick, the settings. I highly recommend you basically just go through all of these different things and figure out what they all mean. I'm not going to go over all of them. Creator Tools is definitely going to be somewhere you're going to go, though. If you have a private account, I think you won't have analytics on there, but analytics is a good one to show, like how many views you have, which videos are going to have or have a lot of views on them, and you can also kind of get some of the demographics. And then I wanted to show, let's see here. Okay, when you're making a video, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna switch to my burner account and make a video for you all. Oh, that's not my burner account. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and click that plus sign on the very bottom there. And now you can see me. And when you start out, you're gonna have your 15-second, your 60-second, or your 3-minute long videos. When I'm making a lot of videos, honestly, I just go straight to 3 minutes. There's no reason to go to 60 seconds or 15 seconds, really. Because if you're making a good educational video that you want to put a lot of stuff into, like maybe you can make it under 60 seconds, but you might as well just choose the 3 minutes. There's no difference in the options that it gives you. It's just that if you do 60 seconds, all of a sudden now you've really limited yourself. So I highly recommend just go straight to your 3-minute video. And now if these things over on the side here, maybe I should just do my whole presentation. I don't know if you all are seeing, but
BJ, you still there?
the things on the sides, you have your flip.
Oh,
that's gonna just change for some reason. Man.
You're back. It's okay. We got your audio. Yeah. So
the internet was perfectly fine before.
Oh, that's okay. Everybody's watching TV net right now in Wisconsin, apparently. So just to clarify for everyone, what we're seeing, your screen share, that's the shirt you're wearing right now, right? And it's delayed on our side because we're hearing your voice first.
Right now. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Well, I've already learned 2 things about Duet and Stitch. So
I'm so sorry.
No worries. I've already learned 2 things. Go ahead and continue.
Yep. Okay. So some of these things on the right-hand side, I honestly don't play around with much, but I really highly recommend that you just go test them out. Like there's like a beauty mode on here, which really doesn't do too much for you. You have your speed, which you can actually record a video and you can talk into it, and you can actually, when it plays it back, it actually does it like ×2 or ×0.5, so you can do kind of slow-mo stuff. You can play around with it a lot, and it's got your basic filters. Have fun, test out the filters. I highly recommend just getting on TikTok and looking at some of the different trends. I will give you a warning though. It is very addicting. And you'll find yourself being on it a little too long. So you're gonna have to find ways to limit yourself a little bit. And then let me just, engaging with your audience. It's a really important thing. When people make comments on your videos, it's a really good idea to reply back to those comments. And I'm going to talk about replying back to comments a little bit later. But what that does is it gets people to come back to your video again So if you reply back, they're going to click on that reply, and it's going to transport them right back to your video. And it's actually going to increase your views on your video. So even if somebody replies to a really old video of yours, I highly recommend, or if someone comments on an old video of yours, I highly recommend you reply to it, because then it'll get them to come back and it'll boost that old video's views again. Sometimes I'll do a lot of videos that get hundreds of comments to where I can't reply to all of them. But then later on, maybe I find some time to go back to an old video and actually start replying to those old comments. And again, it gets that re-engagement going on, and it boosts those views. So this is what I was talking about when it comes to the Rad Talk culture and how you engage with your viewers. And Rad Talk is very new. There's not that many nuclear or radiation communicators on it. So when compared to, say, Facebook or Twitter or your Reddit, there's not that many communicators when it comes to radiation and nuclear. So it's a really good opportunity for us to be genuine and kind to start with, and to build that culture to where we're not bashing people a lot. And I hope I don't sound preachy here, but I have a purpose behind all of this, because people tend to reject your message just because of toxic followers. I've seen this before in people who are gung-ho about certain subjects, such as genetic engineering, and then all of a sudden they're kind of going against it because of the toxic followers that follow it. So I really want to build a Rad Talk culture that doesn't have those toxic followers. So I definitely recommend, please be kind, be genuine. I have some examples of how that benefited me in my videos. I'm going to show here. I had this one video that I made on Fukushima misinformation, this one right here. And I gave just one little bit of fact, or one little fact about how Fukushima caused 0 deaths. And I got this reply here: wasn't there only 1 death because of radiation? And you can see what I was able to do is, if you long press on that comment, it'll pop up with some options you can do, like deleting the comment or reporting it. But it also has replying with the video. I replied back with it with the video, which I do with a lot of my TikToks. And I addressed the question in a nice, genuine way. And what's really cool is I had some other people on that same video where I mentioned that there were 0 deaths from radiation. I had more comments like this. Japan confirmed 1 worker died in 2018 due to cancer induced by the reactor meltdown. And I was able to take this name, and I was able to tag it in that other video that I did here. And the response I got once they got to that video was, I see, that makes sense. I am blown away on TikTok by how receptive people are when you communicate to them in a really nice way. And it's so different than what I've seen on Facebook, on Twitter, especially different than Reddit, as many of you probably know. If you answer people in a genuine way, you'll get good response. And some of that might have to do with the fact that I'm putting myself out there already and making myself vulnerable by showing my face on TikTok. That maybe that plays a role in them accepting my message just with one video or even one comment I've had, which I'll show you coming up here. So after that, here's a good recommendation I have on TikTok. And this is actually something I have learned in maybe the last month when it comes to making your videos as well as replying to comments. And this actually comes from the book Influence, which I highly recommend. I'm sure Eric would recommend it as well. And it has to do with when you are communicating. This is really good for science communicators. When you are communicating, communicate with something that kind of counters your argument first, and then reply with your argument. For example, here it says, your statement is true, radiation is a carcinogen, but, and then I go into my argument. So you kind of retreat and then go forward. And that really builds a lot of trust in you and shows that you are an individual that they can believe. So here's a example of it. Yeah, but there should be oversight of where permanent disposals are to ensure that not on native lands or shipped off to third world countries. And then I responded, this is true. This is true for the toxic waste for any source of energy. Nuclear is not any different. So I just admitted there, nuclear does create a toxic byproduct. And then I said, except for it's the only source that actually manages its toxic byproduct. And actually, I got a good response out of that. Yes, we should have more countries reprocessing and recycling nuclear fuel. And that was a really good response. And that's not the only one I've had. I've had many other ones where I replied in that manner with a kind of a retreat and then my argument. And I have had so many good responses to that. I usually don't get any kickback when I use that comment. And this obviously could be used for Facebook as well, Twitter. You can do that in your comments as well as do it in your videos. Since I've only learned this in the last month or so, only my most recent videos have this tactic in it, but I definitely recommend using that one. Then another one, correct your mistakes. I think this is really obvious. If you're a science communicator and you made a mistake, people will respect you for making a correction to your mistake. I think that goes really, I don't really need to show an example of that. I think we all know how true that is. So my last point here, and this is really important. Why do we need to be on TikTok? Why do you need to be on TikTok? And remember, like I said, as a creator or just with a private account that you can help us creators in the comment sections. Help because you can get hundreds to thousands of comments. It can be overwhelming for the creator. So it's nice to have people with private accounts on as well. It's very similar to Facebook. But first thing I want to talk about, Rad Talk is very new, like I mentioned. And we're really building that foundation of TikTok or Rad Talk creators. Right now, I only know of 2, maybe 3 nuclear professionals that are on TikTok right now. There's really not that many of us on there. And then you have your handful of people who are just enthusiasts and hobbyists on there. And then you have Isodope, which she is a category of her own. The work she does is great, and the work the hobbyist does is great. But I think we should do a little more diversification. It would be nice to get someone on there that knows energy very well, that can do communication on just energy, or communication on better communication than I could do on advanced reactors. Like I have a background in nuclear engineering technology, and I've worked in a nuclear plant, but there's a lot of the new stuff I just don't know. So it would be nice to be able to collaborate with you all in these videos. Then another reason why to be on is, I don't know if you all can see, there we go. We are ahead of the game. This isn't like Reddit, where it's just been completely overwhelmed by people who oppose nuclear and have taken over, such as energy subreddit. For those of you familiar with that, it's a terrible, toxic place. That doesn't exist yet on TikTok. So we are ahead of the game. We are in a really good position right now to take over as the experts on nuclear power, on radiation, and communicating about energy, and honestly, even climate. So if we could get some people on there that can discuss climate change, and then also show how nuclear power is also an important aspect of climate change, and even talk about other things, there's really just not that many people communicating about that right now. So we are really at a pivotal opportunity. So I have a few examples of some other organizations that we typically think is anti-nuclear, those who oppose nuclear, that really have very little presence on TikTok. For example, NRDC, they have 183 followers. That they basically don't exist. There's people with private accounts that have more followers than that. And then you have your Sierra Club, 390, still minuscule. And Greenpeace, they probably have the most out of any of them, because they're a very familiar organization. But I put on a bunch of the different ones on here. Like, they have just in the few thousands. Honestly, it might look like a big number, but I've only been on TikTok since January, February timeframe, and I have double any of these numbers. I have 27,000 viewers. So even Greenpeace doesn't really have a big presence. So this is our opportunity to really take over the conversation on TikTok when it comes to all these different subjects. And then establishing that nuclear expertise. This is a little different than what I was talking about before about diversification. In a crisis, so something happens, such as at the Taishan nuclear plant, or maybe there's some sort of radioactivity that's released somewhere. When that type of thing happens, people go to who they know as the experts. You cannot just jump into the game when something like that happens, like a Fukushima level event, because they're just going to go to those that they default to already. If we are present on TikTok, that right there makes us present and one of those people that they know to go to for real, honest information about radiation. And I have a really good example here that I really hope really hammers in this communicate, or what I'm trying to communicate to you here. This is a video of Bill Nye, and I'm trying. This video isn't supposed to make you not like Bill Nye. I know there's a lot of opinions about Bill Nye and the nuclear community, and this probably isn't going to help your opinions, but the purpose behind me showing you this video is not to increase that hate for Bill Nye, but more to prove my point. So let me go ahead and go to it here. I might have to change my
Bill, because of the
my share screen. Can you see that, Eric? I might have to switch my.
We just have a PowerPoint screen right now.
Okay, let me switch it then.
You bet.
Come on, come on. Of course, my mouse isn't wanting to work today. There we go. You see that?
You can see it.
Okay. Now the thing I'm hoping you'd be able to hear is the audio from it.
Yeah, there is an option that says share computer audio. It's usually up towards the top of the screen in the sharing options.
Sorry, say that again.
So there's an option that says share computer audio within Zoom. It's usually in there's something that says view options or something, or sharing options.
Whoa, my bad. You know what? I think if I have it loud enough, you should be able to hear it. So.
Okay. When you start the share, it does also give you the option too. But.
Oh. Okay. Here, let me.
Yeah, Bill,
can you hear that?
Problems of the loss of power, the data nuclear
yeah.
Okay.
We're hearing about this substance called cesium, which is being released. What's the significance of that?
Well, cesium is used to slow and control the nuclear reaction, the fission of these very large atoms of uranium. And so when the cesium can't get in there to slow things down, it gets hotter and hotter and hotter. Now, when things melt and you see that big cloud that looks to me like dust and steam, and then somebody reports that there's cesium in the air, if that report is true, that would indicate to me that the thing melted and exploded at some level, or splattered into the air, driven by steam. You know, steam can carry things, can hold a lot of pressure. A steam engine, this is a steam turbine. It can carry a lot of energy and carry material, particularly particles, a long way. But somebody's got to verify that cesium report to see if it's true. I read it at several other news agencies, but I haven't been able to verify it myself. And I also wonder if we can get space assets, weather-style satellites, to have a look, and if those instruments can be tuned to detect cesium. With that said, it's a very, very serious situation, and it sounds to me it's somewhat more serious than people have announced.
All right, good point. Because
so you see there, like, I'm sure all of you know that pretty much 100% of what he just said was completely false. But the news agencies, because they go to Bill Nye for that science information, and that's just the person they go to, that's who they brought on board to talk about Fukushima. And he just spread complete misinformation. And nowadays, honestly, people really go to TikTok a lot for their news. So they're going to go to TikTok, and then they're going to go to those people who they know as experts, and they're going to believe whatever they're telling them, whether or not those experts, I'm doing quotations here, are actually experts or not. So we need to make sure that we are filling that void, which there is absolutely a void. The good thing is the void isn't being filled up with a bunch of anti-nuclear propaganda yet, but we need to fill that void before that group does get in there. And we need to be those people that that people go to for information on nuclear and radiation. And at that is the end of my presentation. Sorry for all the glitches there. So let's go ahead. I'll stop sharing my screen here. Well, actually, I'll keep my screen up, because if anyone wants to grab my...
I'll put your email in the chat for
okay.
folks. Awesome. There was one question from earlier we can get to, and I'll invite anybody else to put some questions in the chat. It's from Sheila. Oh, wait, Sally White. She says, does it also engage the TikTok hack, especially if you start engaging 30 minutes before you post and after the algorithm? I think she was talking about when you're responding to comments and things like that.
Let me look at, or do I have access to the comments too? There it is. Okay. I just want to read it.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet.
So I'm not exactly sure. Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay. Engaging 30 minutes before you post and after. I actually am not familiar with that. I don't know. I should have prefaced with I have been using TikTok for about 8 months. Would I say I'm a super user? Probably not. There are some things that I don't know when it comes to what's the perfect way to engage with it. But what I've used has worked very well. Look at that. You got yours going.
Yeah, I just logged into Zoom with my phone. So just I know you were looking for a visual aid earlier on all the different green screen features.
Yes.
So lots of fun. I think I need to turn my video off on here or something. I don't know.
I can see it. It's showing up.
Okay. Just the actual camera part of my screen share is not working, but that's okay. Yeah, so tons of stuff in here, as DJ was saying. I was just thumbing through all the different options. Is it overwhelming to starting out, or do you quickly get a sense of what's there, what you can use, what's not helpful?
Yeah. I mean, can you hear me? I just had to. Okay. It can be, because you're like, how the heck do I do this? Like, like I saw somebody do this. I don't know how to do this. Google is your friend. It is easy to find answers to what you're looking for. I use that green screen one a lot. Like, go up a little bit, and in the center, actually not the center, sorry, the far right there, next to that kind of bent photo, has an arrow pointing down with a picture. Yep.
That one.
Yep. I use that a lot, and you can actually like take a picture, put it right in front of your face, make it slightly transparent, and now you can point at things on the picture, and you can see your finger pointing at things on that picture, and it is just, it's incredible, actually. Like, you can really point at some charts and stuff. It's really quite useful.
Yeah, I've seen you use this a lot with electricity map, where you'll like take a screenshot of the current whatever situation is in Europe, and then point at things. With academic studies, you've done this too. I've seen. Yeah,
I do that with studies a lot, and that one what I usually do is I'll put the study behind me, and then I'll be in front of it. But I've also done with like Thoughtscapism's graphics that she makes. Like there was one showing the risks of radiation as boxes. And I was able to take that, put it in front of me. So not behind me, but in front of me, and then make it just slightly transparent so you can kind of see my face, and then you can see where I'm pointing on it, but it's all in front of the camera instead of behind me. So I find that to be a very useful tool. And honestly, I use it from a very not a super user level, yet I'm still able to get a ton of engagement on it. Yeah. And I wanted to talk about, when I was trying to show my screen, I wanted to talk about just how powerful of a tool it is, because some of those things, those green screen options, I can't find those in even some of the expensive video editing tools that I have. Like, you can do a green screen in video editing, but it's hard to find one where you can actually like live make it green screen and show things behind you or in front of you. You can even make it to where you can take objects and then place it onto a flat surface in front of you, like an augmented reality type thing, and just put them on walls in front of you, like they're posters, and point at posters. Like there's just so much in there that it's a really powerful tool, and that's one of the reasons why I really love using it. I try to record outside of the app and then stitch things together and put it in, and I've given up on that. Like, I just using TikTok to do it all is really what I do.
Oh man. What was your most successful video?
My most successful video, oh, one of them's getting a really, one of my recent videos is starting to get, this one right here is actually getting a lot of views, the ones you're showing right now. But it's not the most successful one. Let me, what's amazing is you make a video and you're like, oh yeah, this one's gonna be good. And then it's just like, okay. And then sometimes you'll make a video and you're like, this was an easy one that I just made. And then all of a sudden, like tens of thousands of views. It's just incredible. Okay, so if you go to right there, the 352,000.
Yeah.
Oh,
that one.
Right there. Like
nuclear fuel is one of the most highly regulated hazardous materials out there, and it has the best safety record. I actually get to train the hazmat teams on what they're supposed to do if they come upon radioactive material in a transportation accident. And a well-informed hazmat team member will tell you that they'll take a radiological hazard over a biological or chemical one any day. In order for a hazmat team member to know how to respond to a hazardous material accident, they use an ERG, or Emergency Response Guidebook. If you look at every single page that mentions radiological incidents, it always tells you to prioritize life safety and other hazards before dealing with radiation. That's because the highly radioactive containers, they've dropped, they've lit on fire, they've submerged, they've hit it with train, and they've even launched missiles at it. And it survived all the tests.
So one of the things that was really incredible to me about that video was I messed up the audio on that one. Like, I got a new phone that day, and I covered up my mic, and so you could only hear from one mic. So it was all, the audio was completely messed up. Yet still, it got the most views out of all of them. So it wasn't even like the best produced thing. So you don't have to be a really good producer to make really or content that really reaches a lot of people that has a good message.
When you do a video like that, do you write the whole thing and have a plan for it before you get into it, or do you do piece by piece and just keep adding a little bit as you go?
So my process usually, I'll get an idea in my head, and as I am like going through my day or just doing stuff around the house or something, like my mind is going over, how am I going to do this video? Like, how am I, like, and I actually get it, it's all in my head. That's the way I do it, not necessarily the way everyone else do it, but I put it all in my head, and there is it's like a weird moment where I realize, oh, I've connected all the dots, and now I know exactly what my message is going to be. This is easy. And once I have that confidence, I'm able to just really pump out a video because I've thought it all out in my head, which for other people might be writing it out, might help them, like piece by piece, maybe write out a note when it comes to their head, write it down, go on your day, and maybe come back and write the next thing. But then once you kind of have it either all in your head or all down on paper, that builds a little confidence in yourself that you can make a good quality video. Yeah. And that one video that got all those views, like, I remember looking at my hair, I'm like, oh my God, it's all like messed up. Like had been driving for several hours before that for work, and it was like 9 o'clock at night. But as I was driving, I was going through that video in my head, and then got to the hotel, and then just made the video, like, off the top of my head.
Wow.
And yes, I did have an ERG just on hand.
Of course you did. When you're starting out, like, so let's say your very first video, was there's some nerves about it? Like, how do you get past that just initial barrier? Like, okay, I'm going to do this now.
Yeah, if you look at my oldest videos, it was really just like that very first one, I was just showing off how I have uranium glass and it glows, because I was like, you know what? I bet you that's going to really surprise people, and they're going to be like, "Ooh, what's that?" And, I mean, I got 10 comments and 63 likes on it, but honestly, for a first video, that's not bad. I have my other account, which is kind of it is a personal account, but I have it not set on private, and I don't think it's reached, any of my videos have reached that level of views. But yeah, I just started kind of fiddling around with it. I just played around with it. I added music. I used to add music to all of my videos. I don't really do that anymore. And it's not slowed down my views or anything. So you could do music, you could not do music. It's really up to you. But yeah, that's, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah. Sheila's got a question in the chat. You can read it if you like, DJ.
Yeah, where are we at here? I'm seeing like a lot of questions here.
Just on the bottom of
Yep.
it. Most recent.
Oh, time requirements.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is one of the reasons why I couldn't do it last month, like do this presentation last month, because I don't really have that much time. And I would say to make a video, like I just made one today, it was just under 3-minute long video, and from beginning to end, it took me an hour and a half, and I'm used to it. I'm used to making it. So it can take a little while. I'm a little slow, I feel, so I don't know if I'm a good example of that, but if I'm doing a really quick video, like one of my most recent ones, it was like a 9-second long video that took me just the 9 seconds, probably about 20 minutes, maybe 15, 20 minutes, maybe even less than that, because I had to add some text onto it. Yeah, this one. Yeah, and you can see a lot more likes than my first one, but this got some good views, and I even made some video. I'm making a video off of this one, a comment on it.
Yeah.
But
I get the feeling that this was kind of like a trend that the format was a trend that other people were doing. Can you talk a little bit about that and identifying which trends to follow, where you can find stuff like that?
This is where it gets into when you're a creator. It's also kind of a good idea to be just one of the viewers. You know, like go through and actually view other people's videos. Get into TikTok a little bit. Then again, that can be dangerous because it is addicting. I don't know, Eric, how much you've been on it, but it's really easy to start just diving in and then you realize, wait a minute, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning and you gotta be up at 6. Like,
yeah.
So
is that when TikTok reminds you? It does that, right?
It does. TikTok is like, you've been on for a while. You can take a break. Like,
are you okay?
people have that's actually turned into a trend, and people have made videos just like that, kind of mocking that. So you start learning about those trends, and often when you see a video and you're like, you know what, I have an idea that goes along with this trend. Mm-hmm. You want to make sure to engage with that video or save it or something, so you can come back to it, because it's really, really hard to find a video that you liked, or not liked, like, you know, double tapped to do the heart, but a video that you thought that you could imitate. If you never engaged with it, you can't find it again. You're never going to find it again unless you knew who the creator was. I struggle with that a lot. So if it's a trend that you want to kind of get on, save it, like it, because you can find your liked videos. If you see on the right hand side there, you have the liked videos. You can go and you can see which, oh yeah, that's my liked videos. You can see which ones you've liked and find that one that had that trend that you wanted to use. And it's important to do that because there is usually a button on the left-hand corner that says like, use this filter or use this effect. And maybe you wanted to use that one. And in that one that was the 9-second video that you showed, I had to find a video that used that trend and then click on the use this effect in order to get that exact setup to participate in that trend.
Ah, okay. So are there like some custom filters that people put together and then like upload that you can use, or are they all from TikTok rained down from above?
They're all from TikTok. The filters are.
Got it.
A lot of the songs and the sounds, those are created by users.
Let's see. Cliff asks, how many accounts do you have and what is each one for?
Yeah, I got just my personal account that I use. I kind of use that just for fun. And then I have my the Rad Guy TikTok. Like I made that very specifically for the Rad Guy for my science communication. And then it was recommended to me when I had one of my videos taken down by TikTok that I make a burner account so that I don't lose everyone. So I decided to create a burner account, which a lot of times what people will do, it's not necessarily a burner account. They'll call it maybe a spam account or their second account. They'll make videos on it so that they can bring over some of their audience onto that account. So if that original account gets banned, which honestly, there's some ridiculous things that they will take you down for. Just it's ridiculous. You still have that other account that actually has at least a following to it, so you don't have to start out from scratch. It's hard to really start out again. Yeah, if you've already lost the account.
Is there a way to so let's say I want to see the videos that people they took your video and responded to it and riffed off of that. Where do you find something like that?
Yeah, so if they did like a stitch or a duet,
yeah,
it will usually just show up in your feed or your what's it called?
Notifications.
Notifications, yeah. Inbox is what they call it on TikTok. It'll show up in your inbox, which is not your messaging inbox. It's just your notifications. It should show up there. Yeah.
Let's say if you're like checking out a video though, is there a way to see, all right, who else has, has anybody done a duet of this video that, that isn't mine?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
So let's say I'm like, I wonder if anybody responded to this cooling tower video of DJs. Is there a way to see that? Who's done riffs on it?
If there is a way, I would love to hear it because I'm trying to figure that out. Because I would love to know if somebody tried responding to some of the videos that I just, when I'm scrolling through and I like a video, I'd like to know, like, did somebody do a response video to that? TikTok's usually pretty good at if you engaged with that video that you're wondering, did somebody make a duet with it or a stitch with it? It's usually pretty good at putting that into the algorithm and then just showing it to you at a later time. But so far, I have not found a button that will tell you who's used this video. Oh, actually, there's a way for duets. But not stitch. If you click on the disc that's spinning on the lower right-hand corner,
just on any
on a video
or
yeah. Go to my video, click on the disc.
Okay.
Here, I forgot, it shows duets.
Okay, great.
Yeah, but it doesn't show.
You disabled duets on this one, it looks like.
Probably not, actually. Here's an important thing that I didn't mention. If it's 60 seconds and under, duets are allowed, and stitch.
Your microphone cut out for some reason.
Can you hear me?
I think you're about to say if it's 60 seconds or less, you can't do a duet. Maybe is that blink once for yes. Awesome. All right. Well, this is probably a good time for me to invite anyone else. If you guys want to unmute video, audio, just full disclosure, we are going to upload this session to our YouTube channel a little bit later. So you're going to be famous to our 600 subscribers. But yeah, welcome to join the chat if you want to ask some questions verbally and engage with us. 60, DJ says 60 seconds or less can stitch duet. Okay, so you can't do one longer than that. Got it. All right.
Yep.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
DJ, we can't hear you yet. All right.
I can hear him fine.
Cool.
Oh.
Maybe it's just me. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. It's just me. I have these really old speakers and there's this thing. And sometimes it's like, you know what? I'm going to mute Eric. And it's such a subtle color. Oh God, I'm so sorry, everybody. All right. Crisis of
Today's presentation, right? Yeah.
I know, man. It's very rare, but it does happen. Okay, we'll cut that part out. Cool. Hey, Ryan, welcome.
Hello, DJ, big fan. Wow,
Thanks.
I learned a lot. I'm not on TikTok yet, but I'm setting up a new email address and I'm going to do it. And I'm going to support, and that's what I'm interested in. What do you foresee like the critical masses with users bouncing them off each other and creating enough organic content to like change the world's mind on nuclear? What does that look like to you? What's the long-term goal?
Oh my goodness, that's such a big question. I don't know if I'm authorized to answer that, but I mean, I don't know. I know that there has been a lot more people coming out and being on the side of nuclear on YouTube, and a lot of big names too coming out. It's really hard to say. I want to say we're getting there. TikTok has some work to do. I might have 27,000 followers, but that's still small compared to a lot of other TikTokers out there. So yeah, we need more people who can kind of cross some other divides. Like I might be getting some people who are collectors of uranium glass, because that's where I started at. And then you have people like Isodope, like she's getting some of that younger crowd, the people that are not the nuclear nerd type crowd. We need to start kind of filling in those gaps. I feel, instead of just getting those people like us, that we're already on board. So once we can start kind of filling in those gaps and bridging divides in other parts, I think that's when we'll really start changing minds.
Thank you so much. And I have a follow-up question, an easier one. I'm jumping on to TikTok. Am I married to the name that I choose, or can I change my username?
You can change your username. I can't remember if you can change your handle, but you can definitely change your username. In fact, I have somebody that's been following me. I think it's called a handle. I've had somebody that's following me for a long time, and she's actually started making her own videos too. She was inspired to start doing her own TikTok and making videos. And I remember every time she would reply to it, like her at whatever would stay the same, but then she would have a different username every time. So you're not married to it. Yeah. I got really confused, but.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Super interesting.
Yeah.
I'll see you on, I hope I don't get too addicted. It's going to be an exercise of self-control and self-discipline as well for me.
Absolutely. I see a couple things in the chat. Let's see, before we ask those, I just wanted to tack a little point onto Ryan and your comments there. where I was just going to say, you know, it's actually, it's sometimes it's hard to learn about nuclear energy, and you don't really get a lot of opportunities to. This is a survey that we sent out to 50 teachers in all 50 states. A little over 100 people have, 100 teachers have responded to it so far. And you can see that, you know, almost a little more than a third do not cover nuclear energy at all. The ones that don't, it's usually because they're not required to. And of the aspects that are covered, this is from 1 is, you know, not at all, 5 is very thoroughly here. The main thing is, you know, comparison of the risks of nuclear energy to other energy sources. And you wonder, you know, what in what light they're actually covering it. You can see nuclear accidents in Chernobyl is up here as well, but you know, thankfully some other positive aspects are included as well. So, you know, TikTok, that's where Gen Z is, as far as I know, as a millennial, on the internet, and it's a really good way to engage with a younger crowd that's thinking about what they're gonna do with their life, where they're gonna go to college, things like that, and worrying about climate change. So, you know, I think DJ is really doing quite a service in reaching that audience. Yeah, so, and ideally teachers would like to cover nuclear energy more, or the same frequency. And most who responded to this survey also thought nuclear should be either greatly expanded or somewhat expanded. So though it's not part of our science standards right now, there's a lot of support for it. So we need to make sure we are fulfilling that with our media here. So just want to add on to that. Okay, we got a question from Keith here. He said, did you say that TikTok banned some of your content? We know that you speak the truth, so what have you been banned for? Did you have to modify your message?
So that video that you saw that had the me pointing at the map, electricity map, that was the one. And it was very likely a bunch of people getting on and trying to report it that got it taken down. And so I contested it getting taken down, because a lot of the stuff that TikTok does is just completely automatic. There's no, you know, a bunch of people sitting behind keyboards scrolling through. Like, most of it is just really automatic. And when you contest it, it goes under review, which I'm not even sure if that one is actually a person or not. It did take several days for them to lift the ban off of it, but they did. And the reason they did was for what was it? It was like incorrect or misleading information or something like that, is what when people would report it, that's what they reported it for. Yeah.
Do you think that somebody actually shared it and said, hey, everybody report this? Or do you think it was organically reported by people who were, you know, maybe challenged by the information?
That's a really good question. And I have been, I've been on the lookout for that kind of, groups that have formed like some sort of Discord or chat or something that, you know, anti-nuclear, that are really just attacking certain things. And I haven't seen that really too much that I can think of. So I'm not sure if it just triggered a lot of people. I could tell you actually what probably did it is that the hashtag I put in it. I put hashtag climate crisis, and that's going to get you a certain demographic of people. And unfortunately, like this really shows a huge problem, right? Unfortunately, a lot of people under that demographic are anti-nuclear, and that's my hypothesis is that had to do with it. Because I do notice that when I put a hashtag climate crisis on it, I am inviting trouble. So it's happened more than once where I've had videos that I put out, like the one where I said, stop shutting down nuclear plants. I don't know if you remember that one, where I was hitting the camera. And I put climate crisis on there, hashtag climate crisis, and I had so many comments to that, and they weren't all good at all. So that was probably what got me a lot of those reports done, or people reporting my videos.
And I saw somebody stitched that one as well, right?
They did. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think I replied to some of their comments. So they were like, actually continue shutting down nuclear plants.
Yeah. And honestly, like that, I could have just gotten away with not responding to it if I wanted to, because there were very few views on that video. I probably boosted the views on that video, honestly. But I responded to it. And I did have engagement with him later on where he's like, okay, let's say I am wrong. Like, what do I do? I'm like, you could take down the video, like, or you could do something where to say, like, I am
your
wrong.
own video. Can you do
that? So you can't stitch a stitch.
Okay. You could like screen record it maybe and get around it that way, right?
Yep. I'm back now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it says internet connection unstable. I even have better internet now. I don't know what's up. But yeah, I was just saying that the video that he stitched with me, I tried stitching it, but then I found out you can't stitch the stitch. So I ended up duetting, because you can duet a stitch. I don't know if you can duet a duet, or duet to duet of a stitch. Like, I don't know how far deep you can go with it, but
yeah. Starts to get Inception-esque.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I had 75 minutes scheduled budgeted for this session, and we have used 76 of them. Now, I'll do like one last call for any other final questions or anything, and then I think we'll, let's see, and you can unmute and unvideo mute if anybody wants to in the chat here. Yeah, Cliff.
I just wanted to say that I came to this saying, well, maybe there'll be some stuff about how to get the message out and so on. And after watching, I'm thinking, well, maybe I'll try TikTok. Maybe I'll try making, So it really brought me from one space to another. So thank you very much.
Glad to hear that.
And that reminds me of just how easy it is to, you start thinking about it in your head and you're like, wait, that would be easy. It'd be easy to make that video. Like it's just baby steps, right? So. Yeah. You make it seem a lot more accessible than it has been in the past. I really appreciated that as well. All right. Well, I think we'll wrap it up there. I should mention we also do have a book club. It's called the Atomic Book Club. So that's another way where you can kind of sharpen your nuclear advocacy saw, learn a little bit more about this technology. So maybe you can make some TikTok videos about it. Yeah, get in touch or with me if you want to be a part of that. There's a sign up form. I'll send it to you. And I think that's about it. We should do this again, DJ, maybe in 6 months or something. And when I finally get that Generation Atomic TikTok account going, it'll be a lot of fun. So thanks again for doing this. Yep.
Awesome. All right. Well, yeah, thanks everybody for joining, and we'll talk to you guys next time. All right. Adios.